Wisp Prime is here, everyone, and to absolutely no one's surprise, she is insanely powerful, and today's build is so strong, it's actually made me enjoy playing her, which is something I never thought I'd say for her. Today's build doesn't make use of Nourish, but trust me everyone, there's some really cool stuff going on here, and it's such an insane weapon buff. The Foeman can one-shot acolytes with no priming. Diving right on into it, Reservoirs is Wisp's first and arguably most powerful ability. Reservoirs is actually a psycho ability with 3 different forms that all give separate buffs that can be active at once. There is an augment fused Reservoirs that fits in Wisp's Excellus slot that allows you to cast all 3 of them at once, which will be used in today's build for simplicity, and further explanations will assume you're using this as well. Note there are no changes if you choose not to, it just takes longer to get them all down. Casting will spawn a trio of pods which all grant unique buffs that can be picked up while within 5 meters of the pods, which will then have them hover at Wisp or any other frame side. The Vitality Mote grants you a flat increase in your health and also a constant health regen per second, starting out at a 300 health increase and 30 health per second, which does scale off strength. The Haste Mote increases 3 stats, movement speed, weapon fire rate, and melee attack speed, again all affected by strength. Finally, Shock Mote will periodically shock up to 5 enemies within 15 meters, dealing electric damage, while always stunning them for 3 seconds. This mote in particular scales off of both range and strength, while the duration of the stun and frequency that it sends out a stun do not scale with duration. Reservoirs in their entirety do scale oddly with duration though, as the pods themselves once placed are permanent, but if you leave the radius of them, the then set duration by the Wisp who casted will determine how long they last. These motes affect most everything in the game, you name it, they probably can buff it. Wisp second, Will-O-Wisp, will have her send forth a projection of herself that draws enemy attention while she also cloaks herself and her companion. This is a good time to mention Wisp's passive, which gives herself and her companion the same cloak whenever she floats in the air until she lands or fires a weapon. This would be pretty nice for safety if the weapon constraint wasn't there, but Will-O-Wisp also has another function, allowing you to recast the ability while the clone is flying to immediately teleport to its location and gain 3 seconds of pure invulnerability. This effectively replaces things like Rolling Guard on her and can be double tapped to immediately gain invulnerability. Coming over to Breach Surge, and this one is fairly complicated. First, casting will cause an explosion of energy, which blinds enemies within range and line of sight of Wisp. When hit with any damage from weapons or abilities, there is a 10% chance these blinded enemies will release a Surge Spark, which will auto-track towards another enemy within 10 meters and deal radiation damage equal to the damage dealt to the surged blinded enemy. This is then multiplied by 2 at base and also possesses a 20% status chance. These Surge Sparks are considered weapons, meaning they can benefit from buffs like Vigorous Swap, Eclipse, and other things. While damaging blinded enemies only has a 10% chance to release a spark, killing them guarantees a spark will release, and due to the homing nature of the sparks, they can also score headshots, which will buff their damage further. Finally, if an enemy dies to a spark, they will not spawn another one regardless of if they are blinded or not. And just because this ability could not get better, it also blinds Xmas units, of course. The status chance and damage multiplier are affected by strength here, making building for it immensely useful in Wisp's kit, as it is also Reservoir's most needed stat. Finally, her 4th ability is actually really bad, so we swap it out for Nourish. Now I know most of you probably already know how this one works, as it's been everywhere lately, but to give a quick refresher, Nourish grants your weapons viral damage and your frame and energy multiplier, which does work on practically every energy source in the game. Besides that, when taking damage from any source, you will send out a wave of viral damage, which primes enemies with a single stack of viral, and this wave is a 2-second cooldown. With Nourish briefly covered, let's move on to why it is particularly strong on Wisp. Sending out the viral wave requires damage to be dealt to you, but this can be triggered by combat discipline, which means that on almost every kill we send out this wave. Counteracting the health drain from combat discipline is the Vitality Mote, which auto heals us and also makes Wisp a great health tank. Furthermore, this will trigger Archon Intensify, which at base grants us only 30% strength, but when health is gained through abilities, gives you another 30% higher than any other Intensify buff. Another Archon mod Wisp makes great use of is Archon Stretch. On ability electric damage, you gain 2 energy a second for 5 seconds. The Shock Mote will trigger this incredibly consistently while also giving some great CC of course. Nourish's energy multiplier does affect this energy gain from Stretch, with the final strength value you will see soon, making this almost 2 times as good as Zeneric's Wellspring that is always active. This type of energy generation allows us to not only run 45% efficiency, giving us more strength, but also means we don't need Energize or Zeneric and can still spam pretty aggressively. With all of this strength, we could use a bit more duration for Nourish to get it above 30 seconds, which is most comfortable for me, and Adaptation also makes her very comfortable to use on base Steel Path as a health tank. If wanting some more range for Shockmo and the Viral Wave, Augur Reach can come in here, which when paired with 2 more Augur mods on your pistol, allows you to 1-cast Shield Gate with both Breach Surge and Nourish. This is not as needed because the invulnerability from Will-O-Wisp paired with the constant CC and health regen with DR is very strong, but if we can do it, why not? Arcane-wise, besides Augmented for even more strength, you can use anything in this slot. Be it more fire rate, Arcane Grace for more health regen. Seriously, it's very versatile, so play around with it, and as I said in the beginning of the video, Fused Reservoirs goes into the Exilus slot. That's all for Wisp Prime, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Now for some quick information on the channel. I'll be going away for vacation for 2 weeks starting August 1st, which is 2 days from now. I have a Zaku video which is scheduled to be posted on Saturday the 5th, but if I'm being honest with you guys, I'm kind of worried. We have gained a massive amount of momentum in the past week, and it does suck to have to go away, but I'm also really looking forward to this, of course. So with that, I want to ask you guys to please consider checking out my Patreon or YouTube memberships. 2 weeks away from my job is kind of scary, and the support there is really going to help. I'll try to be active on my Instagram. I know I kind of opened that and then never touched it again, but I'll also be posting to my community tab and other stuff, so I won't be completely MIA, but just no uploads for 2 weeks is, like I said, kind of scary. But besides that, a massive thank you to all of my current patrons who helped make this all possible. Thank you guys so much. With that being said, I hope this video was informative and helpful, and I will see all of you guys in the next one. Peace!